think I honestly feel like that the essence of that is what drives me, right? So I may not have said it in those words, but if you think about how you describe it and really for someone like me who works in health equity and seeks to eliminate health inequities, right? So those systemic barriers that are causing these health problems and health disparities, like we should not be struggling because we're black, or we should not be whatever. Like you should have the best life because you're here.
That's right.
Period. Like
That's right.
why are we? No, absolutely not, right? And so for me, it's like, how do we make sure that people are not just surviving, but they're thriving? Like, what barriers do we have to get out of the way? How do we get those barriers out of the way? How can we, reinforce in our communities? Like, nah, bruh, this is yours.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let anybody else tell you it's not. And
Mm-hmm.
here's how you can get it. Let
Yeah.
me know if you need some help. If not, you got it. But I'm happy to help you, right? And so for me, it's really about doing those things because I want everyone to have an abundant life. And it's hard to have an abundant life when you have all these barriers placed right in front of you. Whether
Yeah.
you can see them or not, they're there, right?
Yep.
And so it's like my life mission to get rid of those barriers so that everyone can thrive. And particularly Black women, like for me, that's something that I've sort of grown into over the years
Mm-hmm.
because for a long time, and this is really weird. It might be weird to you, I don't know. But for a long time, I focused on my blackness more than my womanhood
Mm-hmm.
because I think my parents, our parents,
Our
sorry,
parents, yeah.
weird, right? Because our parents were so focused on making sure we were secure in our blackness. Oftentimes, I didn't even think about the woman part because I'm like, I gotta make sure. I
Mm-hmm.
gotta make sure
I'm
I'm
black
strong.
y'all and I'm black
You
y'all and
know,
I'm blackity black and I'm black y'all.
to the point that daddy he bought me a puzzle. It had Africa. I don't know if you remember that puzzle. It had Africa, all the
You know, my
countries.
black star on
And
the
my
side.
father used to be like, name the countries in Africa, and I used to have to spit them out, right? Because he wanted us to understand
You
all
know,
of those.
understand.
So for me, I was so strong in my blackness, and I still am strong in my blackness.
Yeah.
But I'm just starting to like, really starting to get into the woman side and the femininity and really what that means for me.
It is episode 7, season 5 of the Big Weed Podcast. Welcome! Hey y'all, it's me, Anasa Troutman, your host for the Big Weed Podcast, back again, and I am so excited about today's episode. First of all, I've been on the road for 2 weeks. I've been away from home for 2 whole weeks. I just got back last night and I'm not even tired. Can you believe that? I feel great. I was in 5 cities in 6 days. Can you imagine? I went to New York. I went to DC. Did I go to Boston? No, I didn't go to Boston. I went to Savannah. I went to Atlanta and I went to Statesboro, all in like 5 seconds. But I'm back now. We just got off of Family Fantasy Extravaganza. I feel a little bit bad because for the first time in my life, we've been so efficient with our recording that we're a couple weeks ahead. So you're not even going to hear this episode for like 3 more weeks. But I'm going to talk to you like it's today because it is for me. So we just got home from Family Fantasy Extravaganza, and today on the episode, it is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful treat because we get to talk to my sister, who I just spent 5 or 6 days with at her house with her family, and we went to the cabin, of course, every year like we always do. For folks who are just joining my life and who don't know yet, Family Fantasy Extravaganza is what we do during the time when most other people in America are celebrating Thanksgiving. So it's like end of November right now. We're recording, and I just got home last night from spending the week with my sister and my mom and my brother-in-law and my niece and my nephew. And we get to talk to her again today. Yesterday, when I went to get on the plane, I was like, talk to you tomorrow. And so here we get to talk to her today. And we're so excited. I realized when I was posting about Family Fantasy Extravaganza this week that some of y'all are new and don't know about Family Fantasy Extravaganza. So I'm going to post some stuff on there, like some past stuff. We actually talk about a little bit in the episode today. We'll talk about the history of Family Fantasy Extravaganza and the themes of the past, and even give you a preview of the theme for next year. And I think we actually voted on the theme for 2024 and 2025. So You're going to get all the family business information. It isn't that exciting. Well, till my sister gets here. So, before we get to the main attraction, I want to talk to you about the Pop 3. I don't know why I'm still doing that. It's just what happens now. When I hear myself say Pop 3, I also hear myself say ba 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 ba. So get into it. All right. Pop 3 for this episode. First of all, if you don't know the number one thing on the Pop 3, then you have not been listening to this podcast. You need to go back to the first episode of this season, and then you will be able to predict that today we are going to talk about Andre 3000, New Blue Sun. What? Now, I feel like I've been talking about Andre on every episode this year. And I feel like we talked about him last year too. You know, on this podcast here at the Big Weed Podcast, we feel about Andre 3000 similar to the way we feel about John Boyega. You can't talk about them enough. You know what I'm saying? So, over the last 2 weeks, while I was away, there was an announcement that Andre's album was going to come out, and it was a Flute album. And when I tell you the number of people who was calling me like, oh, I guess I guess you were right, because I told y'all he was gonna put out a Flute album and no one believed me. And then I told people we're gonna have a Flute concert, Andre 3000 in Memphis in 2020. Listen, we haven't confirmed that yet, but I'm working very hard to get Andre to come to. Andre, are you listening? Are you listening, Andre? Are you gonna come to Memphis with your flutes? You are welcome. We welcome you to Memphis for the Flute concert. October 2024. See me, okay? Text me, 901-676-7372, and I'll make it happen. Andre's Flute album came out, New Blue Sun, and when I tell y'all, it's so beautiful. I saw y'all out there posting memes and making jokes about Andre, but y'all know that album is good. You need to quit playing, because you know who else posted? All the people who love it. There's millions of us, billions of people all over the world who love It's good, y'all. It's good. Now listen, it's stressful outside right now. It's a lot going on. Domestically, internationally, there's lots that will make you sad and mad and afraid. We all need some good, calming, beautiful, spiritual, soulful, grounding music to get us through right now. And when I tell you, Andre 3000 Flute album is just what your soul is asking for. Let it get into your soul and open your mind and your heart to experience the beauty that is possible in life. Okay, you know you want some of that. Just say yes. Say yes to Andre. I say yes. Andre, yes, I accept. Thank you so much. Okay, next on the Pop 3 is this book I want to share with y'all. And I'm so grateful to Renisha because she brought it in today because I told her about it. And it is historically Black phrases. You know what's so funny? I don't think I've ever actually had the thing with me in the studio when I'm talking about it. So this is exciting. It's our first time. Camera 2. That's what they do on TV, right? They be like, look at the book. So this book is really special to me because I don't know if you know this about me, but I am an avid podcast listener. And one of my favorite podcasts is called Fanti, and the co-hosts of Fanti are Jared Hill and Travella Anderson. I feel like you probably know that because I probably have said that to you before. Now, we are very sad because this is the last season of Fanti, and they are never going to do the show again. But Jared and Travell have put out a book called Historically Black Phrases, and it really is a study in all the things that we say. I just flipped through the book and I saw a phrase that made me laugh. And it is like a really beautiful, like, look, got issues. Look. I ain't one of your little friends. This book is filled with the etymology and history and usage of all the things that Black people say in America, like all the Black cultural phrases that we use, that we all know what they mean and we all say them, but we don't know where they came from. And you can find out in this book. And Renisha loves the book. She said it's amazing. She loves it. And it's so beautiful. So go get this book. This is important for you to be able to understand the history of the things that you say every day and to understand where your language comes from. It's amazing. Now, what are we doing? Oh, our third pop three for today is, y'all remember High on the Hog, that amazing show? It came out a couple years ago, and everybody was mind blown because it talks about the history of African American cuisine, Black food in America. Well, there is now a season 2. It came out on Netflix, so make sure you go. I haven't seen it yet, but by all accounts, it is like even better than the first season, and people are losing their minds over this show. They're like, how elegant and beautiful and informative and soulful and liberating it is. And so y'all make sure you go watch High on the Hog season 2. Actually met the guy Steven in Africatown. Y'all remember Vita and them from Africatown? We went to Africatown last October for the premiere of Descendant, the Descendant film that we talked about on the podcast about the Clotilda and the descendants from the last slave ship. Well, Steven went to Mobile and did a cooking demonstration with Vita's Vita's mom, and I feel like we have footage of that because I was at the table. The food was amazing. So like, I've actually had food prepared by the High on the Hog man. How amazing is that? He's very tall in person. Who knew? Anyway, I will find that footage and we'll post it for y'all. But watch this show. It's really, 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 really beautiful and important, and it's like, our culture. So get into it. All right. It's time to talk to my sister. My sister is like the most amazing person in all of America. She is a mother of 2 and a wife, and she has a PhD in public health. They don't call it that. They call it, you're going to have to ask her when you meet her. But it's like a DRPH. That's what it's called, a DRPH, a Doctor of Public Health. She is the chair of the Executive Council of the American Public Health Association, an organization that our father was once the president of, and she is a dean, associate dean at Georgia Southern in the public health school at the campus. My sister is a genius, and she's very accomplished, and she might be an overachiever and a workaholic. Some kind of like me, maybe. Maybe it's just in our family blood. We all work a lot. Anyway, you're going to love her. She's the best. She's so funny. She's so sweet. She's so pretty. She's so smart. Here's me and my sister.
Everybody, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Look at this face. Look at that face. Does it look familiar to you? That's because today's guest on the Big We podcast is my sister, Dr. Nandi Marshall. Welcome to the podcast, Nandi.
Thank you for having me.
This is so exciting. I feel like I've been wanting you on the podcast since the very first day. How are you feeling? Are you excited?
I'm very excited. It's a dream come true.
Whatever. Let the sister shenanigan commence. Well, Nandi, I feel like I have 1,000 things I could talk to you about today.
Absolutely.
First of all, we just got home from Family Fantasy Extravaganza, literally last night. Literally in the middle of the night. And we're both exhausted because I don't even know what time I got home. Did I tell you my flight was delayed?
No, you did not. But I did see how late you text.
And did I tell you? What you say?
I saw how late you text to say you
Yes, it was super late. And also how terrible my flights were. There was some kind of storm happening in Atlanta.
No, ma'am.
And so literally my flight from Savannah was the entire flight, to the point where I had to stop watching. What was I watching? I was watching the first special of the Doctor Who trilogy special, and then I was trying to watch Loki. I had to put my phone away. I was like, I don't want to die watching Loki. Let me put this down.
For real.
Because right now I feel like I'm on the TARDIS, and I don't want to feel like that. So let me just put this down and listen to some music and meditate into my swan song out the sky. So it was a rough night for your sister.
I see.
We made it. How was your getting home?
It was good. good. I did nothing to prepare for the week though, and I regretted that this morning. No
Yep.
clothes laid out, no lunch packed.
Yep.
Yep. It's all good though. We watched football and we chilled out.
There you go. Post-holiday reality.
Absolutely.
How was your Family Fantasy Extravaganza this year?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. So if anyone has not seen Anasta's reel yet, please go to her Instagram immediately because we had so much fun. I honestly feel like I don't want to say it was the best one we've ever had. It could have just been the reel was the best one we've ever had. So it made it feel like you know what I'm saying?
This was definitely the best Family Fantasy Extravaganza content ever.
Yes, absolutely.
That is true.
Absolutely.
I would have said 2021 was the best. No, 2020. What year is it right now? 2023. 2023 was the best. Costumes, maybe? I don't know.
I think I can agree with that mainly because we spanned over several decades. And so you were able to see everyone's personality and how they decided to bring out the decade.
Yep.
And it was really crazy because I feel like legit, even with Nasir, even though I picked out his outfit, he still has no clue who I was supposed to dress him up as. Even though I did his outfit, you could still see his chill personality in the outfit.
Yeah.
And of course, your outfit was like boom pow surprise, and that's your personality. So it was like everything. Yeah, when you did that little kick to the side. but also, I have to say, even though I knew this was going to wear us out, your edition of the championship was everything.
Yes, the championship, the inaugural championship. Wait a minute. First of all, I feel like we need to pause because everyone does not know what Family Fantasy Extravaganza is, and I feel like you need to tell the people about Family Fantasy Extravaganza because it's important.
I would love to. So my brilliant sister, came up with this idea of a way for us to celebrate the idea of Thanksgiving, like family and love and thanks, but not honoring the murder and the slaughter of people. Like, we're not about that in our family. And I'm sure if you listen to this podcast, you knew that already. But that's really the point. So Family Fantasy Extravaganza is our way of being together, having fun, and doing what we love to do, which is dress up. It's another excuse to have an additional day to dress up in the year. And every year we pick a theme. Let's see if I can remember all the themes and not to jump in if I
believe in you.
The first year, 2018, was dress how you want. Come as you are type of thing. Princess Leia. Right. I wonder who Princess Leia was. We had Princess Leia. We had an elf.
I wonder who the elf was.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, everyone came how they wanted to dress up. 2019 was the superhero, which was super dope.
That was a good year for costumes.
I have to say, the costumes from the superhero year might battle this year because everyone went hard during the superhero year. Like, absolutely.
No, people was making stuff. And yes. Yeah,
exactly.
We went hard in 2019.
And in 2020, we had the Roaring 20s, which was also fun. And Nasa pulled up some old photos from 2020. We were hollering this weekend, but it was awesome. 2021 is the year that we're kind of like, I don't really know what happened. I'm sure, so in our defense, 2021, we were still in the middle of a pandemic, right? Yeah. And we did not go to the cabins that year. So it's something else we do is we go to the cabins every year. But we still FaceTimed and did the family thing. I just can't find any pictures from that whole week. I don't really know what happened. Who knows? Me
neither. I have zero pictures. We must have all been crying under the bed.
Listen.
I'm tired of this pandemic. Can y'all please stop? Please.
For real. I don't even have pictures of a setup or a turkey or nothing.
Nothing. I feel like I didn't eat that day at all.
Girl, like, did we go to Popeyes or what happened?
Right.
And then, so I was 21, 2022, which was last year, we did the color theme, which was
was pretty
so
amazing.
If y'all don't know what the color theme is, they like took over the internet. And people were doing like these color parties where you bring all the things and in your color, you dress in your color. So we tried that last year. It was fun. However, we said we will never change up the food again because some of our experiments were great and other ones were a complete.
I just want to say, fill in the blank, that like the rule for last year was not only did you have to come dressed as your color, but you had to only make food that was the color of your color. So some of us had green, and it was a little easier because they could make collard greens. Some of us had orange, so they could bring like sweet potatoes, and some of us had blue
and purple.
and purple.
We
What?
struggled.
I just want y'all to know that I made blue, brown butter, sage, cauliflower mash, and it was blue, as was my cornbread and my butter and whatever else. And we just, it's hard to make blue food.
That cornbread and that butter stole the show. That joint was hitting. I think we were eating that for breakfast like the rest of them days. Like, dang, there's no butter left.
It was delicious, but it was blue. So we had to institute a new rule. Mm-hmm. No matter what the theme, we do not change the food, except I think we already voted on our 2024 and 2025 theme.
Hold on. We ain't voted on the theme for this year.
Oh, we skipped 2023. Oops. Continue.
Flip it in reverse. So this year we did the decades.
Yes.
And we had, let's see, 1920s, which was myself. The 30s was Randall, which is my husband. The 50s was next, was my son. That's what we were talking about earlier, right? Mm-hmm. He was supposed to be like Greece, whatever. And then the 80s was Kylie. Who?
Danny from Greece.
Child, I don't know.
I don't either. Oh, well.
There you go. Somebody right. Drop it in the comments.
The 70s.
We did. Oh, snap! I can't skip the 70s because Boom Pow Surprise was here for it.
Okay, Boom Pow Surprise. Yeah.
And she has like dope eyelashes and this amazing wig. Yo, she killed it. Absolutely.
Personally, that actually I liked.
And you look amazing. I hope to see it again.
Thank you.
That's a good New Year's Eve wig. Like, right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I hear you.
We can go see Renaissance, the documentary. Oh, if you make it. Sorry.
That's fired. That wasn't called for. That wasn't called for. Now you know I might not be able to go.
I'm sorry. And then Kylie, right, the youngest of the bunch. She was 80s.
Yes.
And then our mom.
She always talking about Boom Pow Surprise. Listen, she always doing the most on Family Fantasy Extravaganza. The most every year. The most.
She was the 90s, y'all, and she came out in these silver. Like,
first of all, she said, "Is everyone ready for their performance?" And we were like, "Performance, Houseway? Who was performing?"
Never
have ever had a performance.
The history of Family Fantasy Extravaganza.
She said it like it was just what happens. Is everyone ready for their performance? No one's ready for their performance, ma'am. No one has a performance but you.
Listen here. She came out and was like, Anasa, turn my music on. Yeah, Missy Elliott pumping. She was dancing with these silver glasses on. I was like, okay.
She was like,
listen.
Super fly. She was very serious about her. She had on a bucket hat and the Missy glasses and a whole jumpsuit, like a whole black shiny jumpsuit and some Timberlands.
Hilarious.
Stop talking about my mother.
I didn't do that. That was just...
Stop talking about my mother.
So, do we like announce our themes for the next year, or make people hold on until?
I feel like we should tell them because honestly, like what I've always wanted is for people to be able to participate.
Right.
In Family Extravaganza. In the first couple of years, like people was calling me and getting the information, and we had a website up that was like, I think it was familyfantasyextravaganza.com. How original. And we had like a little toolkit and everything for people to participate. But I think the pandemic took people out.
For sure.
Just like it took us out. So
okay.
So there's that. So I feel like it's time to bring back the enrollment conversation and get other people to do Family Fantasy Extravaganza with us. Mm-hmm. So we should tell them what our next two themes are.
Yes, absolutely. Drum roll. Our 2024 theme is how appropriate. A little horn. I'm so excited for medieval times.
Me too.
Listen, Oh my
Me
gosh, you
too.
know what that just made me think of when we went to medieval times for my for my master's graduation. Oh Lord.
Yo, that photograph from that day remains one of my favorite photographs ever
Listen,
taken of all
ever,
time.
ever.
Ever
But anyway,
taken.
medieval times, we have a year to get our outfits together. I feel like I slick feel like we need to be like, hey, be ready to come and perform at least one line or something.
Oh,
You can't leave mom hanging.
but I will tell you that there will be medieval time themed games for the championship next year.
I'm here for it.
We're going to be jousting and whatever else they did. I don't know. But we're going to be doing it.
Whatever else it is.
I'm renting some horses and we're going to be in the woods. But I do think that we need to make an exception and we should not have a turkey. We should only have turkey legs.
I support that. I tried to only do turkey wings this year. And your mother was like, no, we need a whole turkey. And I said,
You see how she said your mother, y'all? You see how she said your mother? That was that. You out of bounds. First of all, you need to stop talking about my mother, okay? Number one.
I'm just saying, if you can see how much turkey is left in my refrigerator right now, we would have been fine with turkey legs and the little wing thing.
That's all I would have anyway. I don't like turkey.
That's all I like.
I don't like turkey. Anyway. Yes. So before we had Family Fantasy Extravaganza, though, we had a family outing, and that is what we're going to talk about for our main attraction today. Guess where we went, everybody?
Whew. Yes.
We met in Atlanta, and we went to see The Wiz. Now, I have a about The Wiz. So you already where is Avery?
Oh.
Now we just need to say that like part of the reason that we even went to The Wiz was because Nandi is a fan of Avery's.
Yes, Avery!
And unfortunately, when the Scarecrow came out on the stage, it was not Avery.
Child, it was not Avery. My heart is still a little bleeding. Like I still feel a little drip drip.
I feel like you should tell people about Avery Wilson because everyone doesn't know who that is.
Oh, I would be happy.
Yeah, talk about Avery Wilson.
So Avery Wilson is a super dope vocalist. And I've been following Avery since that whole y'all remember the Vine app? And it was like 5 seconds. Right. I ain't gonna do it. So it was like what was it, 5 seconds when it first came out? Like you literally could do 5 seconds of videoing.
And I know you don't think I know.
Oh,
I don't know.
It was something short, but I think it was like 5 seconds. And I remember on Vine, Randall sent me like a video of somebody was like, yo, listen to this dude. And it was 5 seconds of Avery like hitting some riff or something. And I was just like, wow, he's amazing. And I instantly followed him. And so as social media expanded and as I was on different accounts, I started finding him and follow him on Instagram. He is just like his voice, having watched him from when he started on Vine to when he really started to evolve and grow into his confidence and his vocal ability and listening to now how he controls his voice. I'm listening to Avery sing all day. And so, you know, like Anasa said, that for me, it was really about him. But also, in the same breath, we love The Wiz. The Wiz is like, I mean, a lot of people, a lot of Black folks, The Wiz is like a staple in your house, right? You make sure your kids watch The Wiz. You make sure that Anasa and I both had the pleasure of seeing stage play of The Wiz back when we were kids. And so, to me, it was like introducing the next generation to The Wiz and letting them see it. So I probably would have wanted to go anyway, but I literally forced the issue. And I was like, y'all, look who's the Scarecrow! It's Avery! Hi! But let me tell you, I'm going to try not to cry because y'all think I'm being over the top. But when that man came out on the stage and it wasn't Avery, I looked at my husband and said, that's not Avery. And he was like, wait, what? And he looked up and I was like, and I looked at my sister and was like, where's Avery?
But she really did, y'all. Your girl was very, very sad.
She was glass in the eyes.
Yes.
Legit. was so
Yes.
sad.
Yes.
And unfortunately, because I was so upset that Avery wasn't there, like it took me away. I'm not even gonna lie. I think for a good 20, 30 minutes, I was pissed. I kept turning him and saying, hashtag where's Avery?
In the middle of the people's performance, okay?
So
Just
heartbroken.
disrespectful.
Listen, to the point that during halftime, I call everything halftime, but during intermission, can you tell I'm a sports fan? So during halftime, I got on my Instagram and went to Avery's page and was like, why aren't you here? I listen, but I was being like, I hope you're okay. You know, whatever, yada yada yada. He did reply and said that people would, you'll see me tonight. But I'm like, bro,
No,
if
I
I'm
won't see you tonight.
I am not.
Where are you at?
So I appreciate his team or him, whoever it was, for replying. It made me feel a little bit better.
Yeah,
And you know, I am glad that the guy who was the backup to the amazing Avery Wilson had an opportunity to be on stage and showcase his talents. For him, I'm not gonna say I necessarily enjoyed his performance.
Let me say this.
I'm happy for him.
I want to talk about all the wonderful things that we want to tell the people about the Wiz before we start talking about the understudy, because we need to.
Yeah. No, you are correct.
We need to start strong.
Yeah.
So first of all, the Wiz is on a tour right now. They're doing a Broadway stint. I think it's 4 months on Broadway. Actually, I can tell you the dates because I know everything. Actually, I don't. So, so they're going to be on Broadway, I think, from February, the second week in February until end of May, I believe the dates are. Don't quote me. Y'all should check them and go get tickets. But before the Broadway residency, they're doing a tour of the United States. And so the past 2 months, they've been on tour. It's been super exciting for folks. And I think like it's important to point out that in our house, the Wiz is a staple. It's one of those things like we intentionally showed my niece and nephew the Wiz. There's 3 movies in our family that are staple: Sound of Music, anything that has Star Wars, anything, and the Wiz. And so like it was a rite of passage to be like, oh my God, this is the week and we're gonna show the Wiz. So the Wiz is really important to us. It has been our whole life. Like we used to be kids listening to the Wiz soundtrack in the house. I listen to it quite often on my phone, both the film The Wiz and the stage play, the original with Ted Ross and Stephanie Mills and Andre DeShields. Like it's a it's a part of our family cultural formation, that those songs and those people and those voices and the imagery and all of that. So I'm sure we're not the only one. Of course, the Wiz is important to lots of Black families in America. And I have been to countless Wiz sing-alongs and public viewings, like when they have the movies in the park and the movie, even at the Fox, I've seen the Wiz at the Fox. And so like the Wiz is obviously an important cultural moment in Black American culture. And for it to come back in 2023 with new producers, with new voices, with a new director, new costumes and all that is a big deal. And people were excited when it was announced, especially because people like Avery were in it. Like he was the one that we were all most excited about, which is why it was so tragic that he was not there when we went. But like, what else? We can get over that. Especially because we're going to go see it on Broadway, because now we have to.
Okay.
Because
for what reason?
Because we found out that the person who's playing the Wiz on the tour is not the Broadway Wiz person. The person playing.
Pause, though.
What?
It's not because we didn't enjoy the Wiz, because he actually was really good.
No. He was in my top 2.
Yeah, he was really good.
He was my top 2 performances. Let me look his name up because I meant to have it in front of me so I could tell you.
While she's pulling that up,
the who played the Wiz on the tour, his name is Alan Mingo, and the tour was September 22nd to the mid-January. And Alan Mingo Jr. killed the Wiz. He killed that performance.
He was so good.
He was dancing, singing, acting. He was great. He was
so good. However, Anasa is about to reveal to y'all who's going to be on the Broadway. And when we tell you that it's going to be this person and Avery and Deborah. Y'all better get y'all tickets to stop playing.
It's Wayne Brady. Now listen to me, people. I know some people hear Wayne Brady's name and be like, Wayne Brady.
Y'all.
But let me tell y'all, if you talk about somebody performing, Wayne Brady is a triple threat. He can sing and he can dance and he can act. And that thing that comes off as cornballiousness in some places, that's what Broadway is all about.
Yep. He's finna kill it.
It's what Broadway is all about. He is about to come out there and smash y'all's faces with this role.
His foot is gonna be on all our necks. You hear me?
And Deborah Cox plays Glenda.
Whew, child.
Singing.
She sang the house down, okay?
The lady, you know who I loved? The lady who played the auntie.
Mm-hmm.
In the first scene, who sang one of my favorite songs. Her name is Melody Betts. Now that's the singing woman. I don't know this woman. I never heard of her before, but she was singing.
When she started, when they were doing, the little lead into the song, I think she opened her mouth and sang a note and a half, and I looked at Randall and was like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't know who she was, so I don't have any understanding of her background, her experience. I've never heard her sing before. And you get nervous when you go to things that you care about so much, because you're like, man, I hope these people can really sing. Especially when you come to a Black production, like you expecting people to sing. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to hear you carry a note. And this lady here,
he was amazing. And Philip Johnson Richardson, who was a Tin Man, he was good.
He was
good. He wasn't amazing, but he was good.
Mm-hmm.
But who was the star of the show, Nandi?
The Lion.
Come on. The freaking star of the show. Now, this man's name is Kyle Ramar Freeman. And I have seen him before. Remember earlier this year when I went to go see A Strange Loop on Broadway?
Mm-hmm.
He, ironically, was the understudy for the star of A Strange Loop.
Oh, wow.
The night I went, apparently I have an understudy curse. The night I went, the understudy, Kyle, performed, and I was like, there's no way I could have managed a performance with the actual guy if the understudy is this good. He was so good. He was so good, I stayed after and waited for him to come out just so I could have a glimpse. So it was so, and I love that show. I love The Strange Loop. Is so innovative in the staging and the music and everything. And it was like one of those shows that when it was over, people was just legit standing outside because we didn't want to leave. People just like hugging each other and being like, what did you think? What did you think? It was so, I love you. Will you hug me? It was like that after the show. But he played the lion, and he was the star of the show.
He was so good.
He was funny.
So good.
His voice is ridiculous. His acting was ridiculous. All his little facial expressions and nuances and everything. He was amazing.
He really was. I can't hold you. He was so good. But you know who else that I thought did a really good job?
Who?
I think in the beginning, for me, I was like, where's Stephanie at? Like, I ain't gonna lie. I was like, where's Stephanie? I want to see Stephanie Mills because I don't know how I'm feeling about this girl. But I think, again, so let me preface this by saying I was still in my feelings. Hashtag Miss Avery. Okay? I was still in my feelings.
That's fair.
But I will say, by the time we got to the last song, when she sang Home, I was sitting there like, yo.
No.
This girl is good. Like, I really enjoyed her performance. Like, I legit enjoyed her.
Yes.
I really enjoyed her.
I have to agree. I feel like, as much as we love Diana Ross, we don't love her because of her voice. Maybe not, right? So, it's like, for me, you shady boots.
I'm just saying, but you got to remember, we grew up with Stephanie Mills.
Well, that's what I'm about to say. Like, for me, the voice of Dorothy is Stephanie Mills. The voice of Dorothy is not Diana Ross. Your mother is still mad that Diana Ross got that movie part. She always be like, they should have given it to Stephanie Mills. Stephanie Mills was robbed. They should have let her do the movie still to this day. Okay, that movie came out in 1862. But it took me like probably until the intermission to get over me wanting to hear Stephanie Mills' voice in those songs. So like the first, like when she, no, the first 20 minutes, I was like, who is this child? Who is this little girl? What is she doing with these songs? Because not only is Stephanie Mills just Stephanie Mills, but her voice is so deep and mature and big and round. And I just felt like it was missing something. But you're right. By the end of it, I was like, oh, okay. No, she's.
I think, and you know, I'm not the music expert between the two of us. That would be your title. However, I think too, like if you think about Dorothy's journey, right? In the beginning, she's very meek. She's, you know, not confident in herself.
Yeah.
And I think that this girl played the hell out of that role.
Yes.
Because you could tell she could sing, but you just like, oh, okay, let's support the new talent because we don't know her. You know, let's see how this gonna go. She did a great job acting, and let me tell you, if you come and sing down home,
you bet.
Listen, and she sang home. Like when she started singing it, we were excited just because it was home. And home is like people do. Randall's mom sang that in the talent show when she was in high school. Like home is, you know what I'm saying? In our community, home is like, oh, if somebody can sing down home, okay, they got a fan for life.
Yeah.
When she hit that last note at home.
Yeah.
I feel like me, you, and Rand was sitting there like,
we were.
Oh,
we were impressed.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I was impressed. Now, what I will say is like, I want to be able to talk about the set, but
we couldn't see it.
We couldn't see it.
Let me tell you, the Fox Theater is wrong for selling them tickets we were sitting in. Yeah. Okay? Like, literally, we had to go like this. And my poor mom, y'all, she was so pissed off.
Nothing. She was like, well, it good. The music was nice. But it's in our defense. Well, this is the thing that I think, okay? This is what I really think. So the show was great. And also, from a production standpoint, they set the show for I'm assuming that the show was set for the stage that they're going to be on when they are in Broadway, on the Broadway stage. Because, you know, Broadway theaters are smaller than, right? The Fox holds 5,000 people and the stage is humongoloid. So like the set was set up for a much smaller stage. And so they had the curtains like drawn a quarter way into the stage, away from the wings into the middle of the stage. And it was like a very narrow, but a very deep setting. And so like if you were past a certain point on the row, we were on, I guess we were sitting stage left, you just can't see. You can't see. So like I could see like a little sliver of the because they had an LED screen, so a lot of the set was not physical, it was digital. So like, and it was at the back of the stage. So like if they would dance over to the side and we would be like,
yo, when they first found the lion, I guess he was on the tree somewhere.
I have no idea.
I can't see the lion.
I have no idea where they got that man from. No idea. So, you know, I feel like the touring experience left something to be desired for me. One, because Avery wasn't there. Two, because we couldn't really see people. We couldn't see that side of the stage. But like, I'm clear that when it is installed in its real home on Broadway, and Wayne Brady is there, and Avery's there, and you can see the whole thing. Wow, look out. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
It is.
It's going to be amazing.
So some other things that I feel like we haven't mentioned yet. I really enjoyed Ada Pearl and Eva Lane. And Deborah Cox, right? So the Witches
were phenomenal. Yes.
The Witches were so good. And I think one of the things that I enjoyed the most about the Witches and that screen that you talked about, and really the play in general, was that it was relevant to our culture today. Like our Black culture today. Like there were so many things that popped up, like the dances they were doing and the music, like the beats and the rhythms they play, like all types of things. It was like some Afro beats in there. It was just like, oh snap. And it kind of brought you.
Even the humor.
Yeah.
It was very current. And the whole audience would be laughing at moments. And it was like, it was super modernly Black. It wasn't just like nostalgic Black. It was like they took all that and they were like,
Mm-hmm.
It was very relevant and very modern. It was
The
very, very
costumes,
relevant.
everything. I loved it because I felt like it was a very good balance between the nostalgia piece that you spoke of
Yeah,
and the new piece and
yeah,
bringing it together, like bridging generations in a
yes. Because
It
a
was
lot of
beautiful.
it was a lot of kids in there. A lot of people who I'm like, oh, they ain't never seen the Wiz. They don't know what this is, or
Right.
people who only know the Wiz from
The movie.
the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because we grew up in Jersey, so like we was going to Broadway, we was going to right. Jersey's biggest fan right here. So I guess today, everyone, welcome, Nandi Marshall. Um, but like we had a privileged upbringing because we had proximity to New York and New York theater. And so I'm like, oh, most people have never seen The Wiz. Most people have never heard Stephanie Mills sing those songs. Most people think of The Wiz and they think Michael Jackson and Ted Ross and Diana Ross and Nipsey Russell. That's what they think The Wiz is. And so I feel like it was wonderful to introduce a theatrical experience to people and to hear that story done in that way, because it's a different medium. It's a whole different experience to be able to see it on stage, with a 5,000 person audience too.
Yeah.
It was great.
Okay.
It was great. It was great. So I want to move our conversation a little bit forward, because this season is season 5 on the podcast. Can you believe it's been 5 seasons on this podcast? No. Crazy. It's funny because our first episode, our preview episode of the podcast, was the episode that I introduced Family Fantasy Extravaganza. So it's like a Family Fantasy Extravaganza and this podcast are the same age. I guess I was feeling creative that week, I guess. But our 5th season theme is really about Black abundance. And I feel like this is a really wonderful topic to talk to you about, because obviously we grew up in the same house. And so there's like certain experiences that we had that made us who we are. And I was talking to somebody about you this morning. I'm like, we grew up in a home that was like not always financially privileged, but we had a lot of like cultural privilege in our home. And we have parents who really helped us understand our own power and the richness of our culture. And you are now doing a fantastic job, you and Randall, passing that feeling of abundance and bounty onto my amazing niece and nephew, who happen to also be your children. And I would love to hear you talk about like what that's like for you, and like what you got from our parents in the theme of Black abundance, and how you are or are not passing those things on to your kids.
Oh wow! I feel like
I know.
You should have typed that up or told me last week, because
hilarious.
I think sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's just natural,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't realize what I'm doing. But I can give a really great example of one way that I've really admired with Randall and what he's done, and then we can come back to me. But Kylie, so one of the things that for us that I think I may have, I'm not going to say slacked on, because that's not it, but I didn't think about it in the way our parents had to, right? So when we were growing up, there weren't a lot of Black dolls. There weren't no Black Santas, right?
Yeah.
So every time we were getting things, mommy was painting them.
Look, let me tell you something.
In 2023, homegirl will still paint it, okay? If you have something she wants and there's not a Black option, she will buy it and paint it.
There is the black marker, the brown marker, and the brown paint.
Period.
Your mother's going in on it.
Right. And so growing up for me, like I think when I was a little older, there were more Black Barbies, but it was like, ooh, there's Black Barbie, grab it. There's the only one left.
Yeah.
So for me, we had more of those intentional conversations about Black being beautiful and all those things, right? And so I think I take for granted that I don't have to do that anymore, because everywhere we go, like we're on TV, we're in movies, we're leads, we're, on the shelf. Sometimes the Black option is all you can find, right? However, I also forget that my children go to school with people that don't look like them, right? They're in a very big school, but sometimes that, I guess that philosophy or societal view that the straight hair and the white skin is better, I didn't consider that and we had to work really hard. We didn't have to work as hard with Nasir. Like Nasir, he came home one day and just asked, "How come so and so's hair looks like that and mine doesn't?" We explained it, and he was like, "Oh, all right, cool."
Yeah.
That was it. And with Kylie, when that time came, it happened. We talked about it, but that wasn't it.
No.
Then like people she's only interested in this, or this person looks prettier. Like kind of like that study they did with the kids. Like this person is prettier. Well, why? And she would talk about because the hair is straighter or whatever. And so we were trying to constantly find ways on how we can really support Kai and help her to see that she is beautiful. Yeah. It's not to say anybody else isn't. This ain't about them. This is about you.
Yeah.
And there's a song. I think the guy's name is Eugene King, and it's pretty brown skin. And Randall started playing that for Kai. It's a rap song. Kai knows every single word now. And so for the last year or two, whenever like we get hype about something, we put that song on and she rapping pretty brown skin, pretty dark skin. Like that is her jam. Yeah. And so stuff like that kind of makes me feel like, okay, one, I'm glad I'm not doing this alone because I can't come up with all the solutions. Yeah. I can try, but it's helpful to have a partner who also like is on the same wavelength as me and making sure our kids understand that you are beautiful because of who you are.
Yeah.
Who cares about you? You are beautiful in your brown skin, your kinky hair. You are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing though is like really exposing them to cultural pieces. So like going to the Wiz, stuff like that. To me, listen, Nasir and Kylie got to watch Coming to America last year. It was everything. You know what I'm saying? Like now that Nas is a teenager, exposing him to those types of things, like something that simple, right? We had all the cultural things. We do Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is something that we've done our entire lives, and we make sure that we were intentional about making sure that my kids understand Kwanzaa. I don't care how tired we are. It's 8 o'clock. Y'all ready to go to bed? We're gonna light this candle, and we're gonna talk about today, and we're gonna talk about
FaceTime Auntie so she can talk about it with you.
Exactly. So like, I think for me, there's the intentional things. And then the things that just happen. So like the Kwanzaa thing is intentional for sure. Yeah. The other pieces like the Wiz, like that was more about me and less about them. But as a byproduct of it, they're able to get that exposure. Mm-hmm. I think the other thing too is we try to be really open with them in an age appropriate way, which is hard because if you know my husband, he's not as filtered as I am.
I do know that.
It's a nice way to put it, right?
Our Sagittarius in the family.
Absolutely. And so trying to, I don't want to say educate, but trying to help my kids understand some of the things that either we've experienced or things that we see on the news or things that are happening out there because of brown skin. Yeah. So like hate and racism and all those things. Like it's hard. Nasir, I think he kind of understands it now. He's 13. Kylie is 7. So for Kylie, she's still like, but why?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. Like I know it doesn't make sense, but so trying to like have those conversations is really hard. Yeah. But you know, we try to have them in ways that don't eliminate their innocence, but still kind of keep them in the game and just kind of build them up. But we focus more on building up confidence, which is something that mom and dad were amazing.
That's right.
I have never in a day of my life, no matter how overweight I got, no matter how horrible I may have had a bad hair day, no matter, I never felt like I was ugly. I never felt like I was less than. Like I may have needed to work on confidence because I was a shy kid at one point, right? Believe it or not. But I never felt less than because I was Black or because I was a woman or because of anything. Like I never felt like I was deserving of all the things because I existed. And so for me, I think that's another piece that I try to instill in them that mom and dad gave to us.
Yeah, that is the biggest gift that mom and dad ever gave me was just that, like, we never got that you have to do twice as much to get half is whatever people say to their kids. We never got that speech. What the speech we got was like, you're amazing because you're Black. And look at all the amazing things that we've done. And you read this book and look at this and we never... That's the biggest gift that I've ever gotten. And it's a lot to do with how I show up in the world right now because I feel like my abundance flows from the fact that I have such a rich culture and that because Black people, Black women in particular are so powerful and such visionary people and so strong and so tender and like all the ways that we connect to those stories are like exactly why I feel like I can do whatever I want. And our mother literally would be like, You can do anything you want.
Listen,
Literally. If
mommy
you
used to be
ever,
like, she used to be like, I don't care if you want to be a housekeeper. You a domestic engineer and you be the best one out there. That was
she
how
told
she did
me
it.
a hoe on the corner is what she told me. If you
Well, she told me that too, but she also said the domestic
you gonna
engineer.
best hoe out there, but she's gonna be so mad when she can say that. But also, like, can't the word can't was a curse word in our house.
Still is.
If we ever still is, if I'll ever would be like, I can't, there's no such thing as I can't. There's literally, it was banned in my existence. There's no such thing as I can't. You could do anything you want. Literally, she said that to us all the time. And I believed her, and I think that you did too.
Oh,
Based on
absolutely.
the
I tell
way
the
my life
kids that
looks.
now.
Yeah,
I tell my kids, there's
yeah,
no such thing. Readjust and try again.
that's right.
Doesn't
That's
mean you can't do it. You might not have the right tools. Like, let's look and see how we figure this out.
but
Absolutely.
there's no such thing as I can't. So I'm curious about how your experience with Black abundance and your like well of possibility that you've taken on in your own life and in the life of your kids extends to the rest of the world because you got into the family business of public health. And so and you spend a lot of your time thinking about not just your own family and your own personal life, but you spend a lot of time thinking about how everybody can experience abundance, at least when it comes to like your wellness and other things connected to it. So I'm just curious about how those things have translated for you outside of yourself and your experience.
Well, I honestly feel like that the essence of that is what drives me, right? So I may not have said it in those words, but if you think about how you describe it and really for someone like me who works in health equity and seeks to eliminate health inequities, right? So those systemic barriers that are causing these health problems, these health disparities, like we should not be struggling because we're black, or we should not be whatever. Like you should have the best life because you're here.
That's right.
Period. Like
That's
why are we? No, absolutely not, right? And so for me, it's like, how do we make sure that people are not just surviving, but they're thriving? Like, what barriers do we have to get out the way? How do we get those barriers out the way? How can we, reinforce in our communities? Like, nah, bruh, this is yours.
mm-hmm,
Don't let anybody else tell you it's not. And
mm-hmm.
here's how you can get it. Let
Yeah.
me know if you need some help. If not, you got it. But I'm happy to help you, right? And so for me, it's really about doing those things because I want everyone to have an abundant life. And it's hard to have an
Mm-hmm.
abundant life when you have all these barriers placed right in front of you. Whether
Yeah.
you can see them or not, they're there,
Yep.
right? And so it's like my life's mission to get rid of those barriers so that everyone can thrive. And particularly Black women, like for me, that's something that I've sort of grown into over the years because for a long time, and this is really weird. It might be weird to you, I don't know. But for a long time, I focused on my blackness more than
Mm-hmm.
my womanhood
Mm-hmm.
because I think our parents,
Our
sorry,
parents, yeah.
right? Because our parents were so focused on making sure we were secure in our blackness. Oftentimes, I didn't even think about the woman part because I'm like, I gotta
Mm-hmm.
make sure I'm
Black
strong
y'all and I'm black y'all and
enough
I'm blackity black and I'm black y'all.
to the point that Daddy he bought me a puzzle. It had Africa. I don't know if you remember that puzzle. It had Africa, all the
With
countries.
Madagascar on
And
the
my
side.
father used to be like, name the countries in that, and I used to have to spit them out, right? Because he wanted us to understand
You
all
don't
of those.
understand.
So for me, I was so strong in my blackness, and I still am strong in my blackness.
Yeah.
But I'm just starting to really starting to get into the woman side and the femininity and really what that means for me. And as a
Mm-hmm.
part of that, I've leaned into really supporting Black women in breastfeeding, right? Because you know that that's really part of or really the biggest part of my
Mm-hmm.
research and my community engagement right now. But it's just been an amazing journey.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like, how do I help these Black women get what they need for something that should be so easy for them, but these barriers are
And
destroying
it
it.
will fortify their children's physical life
Right.
and their health for
Absolutely.
the rest of their life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And part of that is letting people know Black women do breastfeed. Okay. So I'm just going to put that out there. We
Yeah.
doing it. Period. So we've been doing it for generations. We ain't stopping. So want to
Literally
change
since
the
the
narrative.
first woman was ever born and had a baby. Literally.
Okay.
Born wherever she came from. The first time she had a baby, how you think she felt that baby? And would you think she wasn't black? Because she was.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, but yeah, I think that's really how it translates into the work that I do, or translates into the work that I do.
I think it's interesting what you're saying about Black women, because I think you're right. There was never an explicit conversation in our house about womanhood or womanism or feminism. I think I got all the language in college.
Shout out to Spelman.
Okay, shout out to Spelman. And also, when I was a kid, because you weren't born yet, but when I was a kid and mom and dad were in school, dad was in medical school and mom was in law school, it was only ever Black women around. Like all of mom's friends were Black women who were in law school, all of them. And half of dad's friends were Black women who were in medical school. So like when I was growing up, I thought that like being a doctor or being a lawyer was something that women did, like being a teacher or something like that. And so when I got the language, it was like natural to integrate it into my life and way of being, because I already had like subconsciously been shown that women could do anything.
Absolutely.
And could hold the most powerful positions, and were both nurturers and providers and protectors all at the same time. And then like became that because I could talk about it and I could be about it. And obviously, like, I don't have to tell y'all how I feel about the power of women. Like this is it's our time right now. And I talk about this all the time. I just tell people like what I really think, like all of this things that we're dealing with, racism and all the things. I don't even want to list the things. There's so many things right now that we're dealing with. Is like the over centering of the hyper masculine and like not making enough room for the divine feminine to come into the world and to take root and to grow and to build structures of equity and justice and love and care and compassion. And if we did that, I feel like we would be halfway, at least halfway there. And I think that your focus and your work really on women, this is going to sound so crazy, but like the physical, spiritual, and emotional nurturing that is represented in the act of breastfeeding, it's like literally giving life. It's just so profound to me that you're doing that work. It makes me so proud of you as your sister that you're doing that. And it's like a really powerful way for you to take the work that mom did and the work that dad did in their careers and really integrate them, because mom was protecting families and protecting children and like making sure children have space to grow and live and thrive in her legal practice. And obviously dad was doing the same thing. And it's really elegant the way that you've woven those two things together and created a whole life for yourself and a body of work that I'm really proud of. You know I love you. You're my favorite.
I love you too.
You're my favorite. Mm-hmm. What a great life. We're so lucky. Nandi, you are my Black abundance. All right, that's enough. I love you.
I love you too.
Oh. I was going to say I'll see you next Family Fantasy Extravaganza, but I'm going to see
No, it's January.
Okay, listen. As much as you all know now that Nandi loves Avery Wilson, the person that she loves 100 times more is Leslie Odom Jr. You see how she put herself together?
Oh, Leslie.
And in January, first of all, Leslie Odom Jr. just came out with a new album. I think I talked about it last week, but I don't know if I did. But if I didn't, you just get in the bonus pop 3 is like Leslie Odom Jr.'s album is out, and it's so beautiful. And I need to give Leslie Odom Jr. a public apology, because how long have you loved him?
Girl, since Smash. Smash was Girl, Smash was like when I was living in the townhouse.
Here's
So
his
that
whole
had to
thing,
be,
Smash. Have y'all not watched this show, Smash?
yo, if y'all have not seen Smash, get on it.
It was on NBC. I feel like you can get it on Peacock or Hulu or something. But Smash was the first time we ever saw Leslie Odom Jr. This is the first time I ever saw him. I think the first time you ever saw him. It's a TV show on NBC starring Deborah Messing, Catherine McPhee, that other lady, and it was about the making of a Broadway show.
So good.
It was so good. Those songs, the acting,
Here's the thing. In all of his amazingness.
Yes.
All of his amazingness. I remember, so in his role, he didn't sing a lot in the role he played. That was not part of his character in the show.
They sang Stand Together.
I remember when he sang, like I remember we were sitting in the living room.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed him just because he's a good actor. So we were watching the show, we were enjoying it.
And
I remember when he
started paying attention to him, okay? Right.
Okay. And I remember when he sang, and Randall and I were like, yo, why are you not singing more in the show? Like, we were literally upset. Like, he sings better than most of these people up here. Like, oh my God.
To let him sing because he just killed this whole thing. And then they only let him sing half the daggone song. They had that other girl singing. You know what? You know how I think about Leslie Odom in that show on Smash? You know how Prince has these songs on his albums and they just be half songs? And then you be like, wait, what? That's what the best song on this whole album is a half a song. Why are you rapping, Prince? Be quiet and sing some more songs. I felt like Leslie Odom was the Prince song of Smash because it was just like, we got this much.
But it was amazing.
So much more that I wanted from him.
Listen, and let me tell you, we got it though, because I remember again, let me tell you, Leslie, if you ever
he's gonna watch it.
You are amazing because like these memories, these core memories, as we like to refer to them as my house because we are Disney fans.
Yeah.
We say core memories from the movie, right? And this core memory, I remember Randall texted me one day or called me. I think he called me, babe, guess what? I said, what? He said, guess who put out a Christmas album? I said, who?
Who?
I said, Leslie Odom Jr. I said, what? Give it to me right now. And let me tell you, it was the best because we had not really heard much from him since Smash. Because, you know, we didn't know him like that. We just knew he was an amazing guy on the show. And then when his Christmas album came out, we learned he had another album. We were just downloading albums. And now he's one of them people now that if he say he's dropping something, we pre-adding.
Immediately. Okay. So I need to just interject here and say a couple things. One, the reason, like, I know y'all don't know my sister, but my sister's brand, like my brand is Star Wars, my sister's brand is Christmas, okay? So I'm surprised she don't have a, right, there you go, right, okay, there it is. So for her favorite singer to come out with a Christmas album, there you go, okay, very good. It is, it's a big deal. So she probably lost her mind. The other thing that you left out in your story is that along the way, Leslie Odom Jr. starred in Hamilton.
Oh, wait, I didn't leave that out.
The biggest Broadway show in the history of Broadway shows.
The thing about this is this, and that's good for people who still have no clue who we're talking about.
Yeah.
I bet now they like, oh, Aaron Burr.
Aaron Burr in Hamilton.
So the thing about it is, I love Leslie because of his voice. His acting is amazing, but his voice is just, to me, he's one of those voices that if I just, like, I can hear him singing Christmas, like, I'm about to listen to it when we leave here. Like, what?
Yeah.
And Randall surprised me with a trip to go see Leslie Odom Christmas tour. Yes. He didn't tell me where we were going. He just was like, dress up, yada, yada, yada. We drove to Atlanta. And when I found out it was Leslie Odom, I thought I was going to cry. Y'all, I was like, what? I was excited. And the crazy thing about it, so at this time, Hamilton had already been out. It was done. Anasa told us, yo, y'all need to see Hamilton. We was like,
I told him so many times, like, please listen to the soundtrack. What are you doing with your life? It's the best songs ever.
But the craziest thing is we listened to the soundtrack. I think we listened to 30 seconds on the first song, and we was like, nah, bro, I can't get with it. So we're just like, whatever. We was just like, whatever. I'm Leslie, right? And Leslie sang Dear Theodosia at his tour. And we were like so mesmerized with that song. And people were so excited. We didn't know why. Again, We had no clue because
it was the best song from the best musical in the history of musicals.
Well, let me tell you,
the singer in the whole show.
When that thing came on Disney Plus,
yes.
and we told them, I said, okay, we gathering the family, and we watched it. Y'all should have seen Red or not on that couch. Like, we kept jumping up like, yo, this is amazing. Oh my God. We were calling the novel like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. This is so dope. And it was everything. And so his entire body of work, like, not even just his Christmas album, because off GT, of course.
We were listening to his album on repeat during Family Fantasy Extravaganza. Let me tell you, the reason why I was about to call him Aaron Burr. Hilarious. So sorry, Leslie. Leslie Odom Jr.'s music is not just about his voice, which is like so beautiful and clear. His tone is like so pure. But the thing about him is really his brain and the way his brain works and the choices that he makes as a singer and the choices he makes as a creative lead on an album, like the production on his records, bananas. The way that he sings and chooses notes and his runs. What? Let me tell y'all something. And this is why I need to apologize to him, because I loved him. I loved him on Smash. I loved him in Hamilton, and I did the opposite of you. Was I slept on his music, because you'll be like, you need to listen to these records, and I'll be like, I'm going to listen to Hamilton one more time, because it was one point where I could not listen to Hamilton for months. It was all I listened to 24 hours a day, even in my sleep. So, and I now, like, when his new album came out, I'm obsessed with it. Like the single that came out, Show Me. Oh my God. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Her voice like compliments.
Who is this woman?
I don't know, but I need to follow her.
She's amazing. So like I have been going back ever since the single came out, because I'm like, I'm tripping. If this sounds like this, and Nandi and Randall, who I trust the most about music, are like, I need to go back. So I've been going back and listening to all the records. And they're just incredible. He's incredible. And let me tell you something, Leslie Odom Jr. Not only are you incredible, but you're so incredible that we built our mother-daughter trip around you, okay? And we are coming to see Pearly Victorious in January. And if your understudy comes out, I'm blowing that theater up. You know what I mean?
She is just playing, just in case, God forbid, something happens. She's just playing. But I literally was about to say, Nasta, you say you have an understudy curse, so let me tell you something right now. I need to sit outside the theater, because
I am to find you, Leslie Odom Jr. And I know you're not singing in this show, but you're gonna say some lines for me or something.
Listen, we'll meet him outside after the show. We can sing a little something. Okay,
we can find you, but we just know that we love you. We come to see you, so you know.
Now that you listen to his catalog,
yes,
his catalog. Do you realize the song? I mean, the song that I referenced in my speech at Daddy's Memorial was one of his songs off of his album.
Oh, which one?
The Silver Lining song.
Oh!
It's the song that I based my speech at Daddy's Memorial on, was the Silver Lining song, because that is literally one of my favorite. I know. It's literally one of my favorite Leslie Odom Jr. songs.
Sweet.
And I play it all the time. It's one of those songs that kind of helps me when I'm in a rut. And Kylie knows the song because it's my favorite. Like when we were going to take the kids to go see Leslie Odom for his Christmas tour again, that he ended up having to cancel because he got sick and my heart was broken, but it's okay. We were all going to write a line from your favorite Leslie Odom song. Like we had this whole plan. We were going to make t-shirts, and mine was going to be Look for the Silver Lining. And so that really, if nothing else, can also show you how much Leslie Odom as an artist means. Exactly. So now that you've heard the songs,
I didn't know the song when you told the story at the memorial, but now it means so much more to me.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Leslie, you're part of our family.
And we finna celebrate with our kinfolk in January when we go see Ernest.
If you want to have dinner with us, call us.
For real. Because there's always absolutely. You can bring the wife, bring the kids. We can have some joy.
Yes, that's so sweet. Wow, that's amazing. Leslie, if you're hearing this, you can send me a text message at 901-676-7372, and we'll come hang out with you. Just like all the other people in the Weverse. If you want to get in on this conversation and you want to talk to me and Nandi about the Wiz or send us messages, you can send us a text message at 901-676-7372. I can't wait. I can't wait to see you in January with Leslie Odom Jr. I had like a daydream the other day that we saw him after the show. Like we waited outside and went to go talk to him, and he was like, "Hey, I'm doing a set over at the jazz club. I'm gonna sing tonight. Y'all want to come?"
Listen here, and will okay immediately.
Like you're crazy. Anyway, Leslie, we love you and we love your songs, all of your songs, not just the Christmas ones, every single one.
Yeah, we love your entire catalog.
We love your new album. It's amazing. And we want to be your best friend. Okay? Sweet. Nandi, thank you for being on the podcast.
It has been my absolute pleasure.
I can't believe we talked for so long. The longest conversation I've had all season.
Wait a minute.
What?
It's my honor.
Oh! And that's why you're my sister. Because you make Star Wars references that no one even would ever understand. I love it. I love you.
I love you too.
What a gift. What a gift to have what y'all are not as lucky as me because you don't have a sister like Nandi Marshall.
Yeah, and I say that about you all the time. I got the dopest sister on the planet.
We do. We do. We do. All right. I guess it's time to go.
I guess so.
So sad. I'm gonna call you tonight. Okay, tell everybody to say hey.
I will.
I love you.
I love you too.
Okay. Now you know why I love my sister so much. Because she's the best. Wasn't she so smart and so pretty and so funny, just like I told you? Imagine growing up with her. What a treat. What a treat. Actually, it wasn't like that. I'll tell you that story later. But right now, let's just pretend like it was amazing. Because she's amazing. So before we go, I want to tell you what's coming soon. I'm not sure if I'm excited about this or if I'm worried about this, but I'm curious about it, and I guess it's all that matters. I found out on the internet the other day that in 2024 on Netflix, Eddie Murphy is starring in a new Beverly Hills Cop movie. What? Now, me, myself, Beverly Hills Cop fan. Huge fan. Love those movies. Love Axel Foley. One of my favorite characters that Eddie Murphy has ever played. Now, I'm a little nervous about it because if you remember from season 4, I was quite excited about Coming to America Part 2. And I may have been let down a little bit. I feel like the writing was subpar. I feel like the direction, maybe not. I will just want to shout out Wesley Snipes because he was the best thing about that movie. But Wesley Snipes is the best thing about every movie he's ever been in his whole entire life because he is such a genius when it comes to acting. But like everything else, I don't know about Coming to America 2. So I am a little afraid that Axel Foley is going to let me down. So I just want to, let's have a quick prayer circle that the actors and the producers and the directors and the lighting people and well, you know what? That's not true because the clothes, the wardrobe in Coming to America 2 was killing the game. So okay, they got that right. They got Wesley right. But like, Eddie, get your people together and make sure you do Axel Foley right. Don't come over here acting crazy with Axel Foley. Don't do us like that. We deserve better. Eddie, you deserve better. Axel deserves better than that. Okay, so you know what? I'm letting go of my doubt. I choose to stay excited and curious and happy because Beverly Hills Cop Axel Foley, that's what it's called. It's called Beverly Hills Cop Axel Foley 2024, Netflix is gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing, right? Because you know why? Because all the people who we love, they're all coming back. I was looking on the IMDb today, and it's not just Eddie Murphy coming back, but Judge Reinhold's coming back, who played Billy, and the guy who played Taggart is coming back, John Ashton, and they have Joseph Gordon-Levitt coming back. And you know who's coming back? I'm so excited. Bronson Pinchot, who played Serge. Remember Serge? He's coming back for the movie. I'm excited about that. And then they have like people like Kevin Bacon and other people coming who were not in the other movies. But I feel like the cast is correct, okay? We got all the old people coming back. We got Eddie coming back. He got the jacket coming back. Okay? It's going to be, I can feel it. It's going to be great. Okay. Thank you, Eddie, for listening. Thank you. We love you. We're so excited about this movie. And Eddie has a Christmas movie out. So if you haven't seen this Christmas movie on Netflix, it's not on Netflix. It's on Amazon Prime. So we're going to just be Eddie Murphying right now. Go watch his movie on Amazon Prime, his new holiday movie, and then like say a little prayer for Axel Foley. Okay? Sweet. That's it for us today. Y'all know I love you so much. Thank you for listening to me talk for so long. If you want to talk to me, send me a text message. You can text me at 901-676-7372. That's 901-676-7372. And I will text you maybe not right back, but back eventually. We want to thank our music for this whole entire season has been by The Privilege. We love y'all so much. So two amazing young brothers who live in Memphis. I love their music. So thank y'all for letting us use your music. Make sure you like and comment and subscribe to these channels and make everyone that you know in your whole life listen to this podcast with you because we love them too. Okay? Shout out to Eunice Media and to Renisha and to the whole Big We team. This has been a Big We production, and you know we love y'all. And remember that abundance is your birthright. We'll see you next week.